I understood perfectly well, just like in the classics, that love can lead to children, but it seemed to me that this could never happen to me. My first reaction was, of course, tears. Right away I thought, my mom is going to kill me, right? When you walk by, all the grandmothers near the entrance go silent and stare. Doors close and you hear whispering. I got pregnant at 17 and had an abortion. My parents insisted, and honestly I agreed too, since it was the end of school. We weren't thinking about kids, grandchildren, or anything like that. Just 6 months later, or even a little less, I got pregnant again. We used protection inconsistently, like yes, sometimes, but sometimes not, because we were young and passionate. We had known each other since early childhood, living in neighboring houses. It's the classic story of young love. We didn't intentionally skip protection to have a baby, but apparently we weren't careful enough. I thought I was too grown up and independent, but basically that's what happened. I had to be grown up and independent. We met in a very ordinary way, on V-Contacte. We were probably just friends for 2 or 3 months, and then spring came, flowers bloomed, and hormones kicked in. It was just that one single time. It feels like this could happen to anyone, but not to you. Especially since even all my classmates, many of them didn't use protection. They said it was uncomfortable and everything was fine. I wouldn't say it was my first love, but there was some kind of interest. He was 3 years older than me. When I told him that I was pregnant, he said to me, yes, I know, I did it kind of on purpose. He's not from Minsk himself. Maybe he did it to somehow get registered residency. It was such an incredible burden of emotions, it was just impossible to bear it on my own. I just wanted to tell someone, help me, what should I do now? My first reaction was, of course, tears, and then there was uncertainty about what to do next. I was in school. How do I tell my parents? You know how it is. Mom will kill me, right? I soon realized I was pregnant. My boyfriend got a test from the pharmacy, we took it, and the result was clear. I was unprepared for the situation, regardless. It's not fear or a problem, just a situation you're not psychologically prepared for. Abortion was considered as an option, along with others. The second time, I knew for sure that I wouldn't have an abortion again. I wasn't even 18 yet, and until I turned 18, I didn't tell anyone. I didn't want anyone to make this decision for me. So, 18 years old, I'm an adult, a responsible person, right? And I do what I want. If I want to have a baby, I have a baby. If I don't want to, I don't. If I want to drop out of university, I do, and so on. It was disgusting, let's put it that way, on the part of the school administration, because when they found out I was pregnant, they told me to take my documents and leave. My mom said they had no right to expel us and that she will finish her studies until April. She demanded they give her grades based on the term results. She will remain enrolled but won't attend classes. I left school. That was 10th grade. It was a difficult pregnancy with late toxicosis, preeclampsia and swelling, which is obviously not good for the body. I left and I knew I wouldn't go back the next year because the baby was born in the summer and would be really little. There are always options to complete your education. For my peers, I just stopped existing as a girl at all. The girls mostly looked at me like I was a fool. So basically the whole environment, just stepped 2 steps back and put a label on me. You're underage, you're, like a drug addict, a prostitute, and now an underage girl who gave birth. So that's pretty much how it was, all in one line. Yes, it was hard. When I registered, they just asked me if it was by mutual consent or not. They asked a lot of questions about the child's father, like, are you sure it's this person? That bothered me a little at the time because, of course, I knew who the father was. There just weren't any other options. When you walk by, all the old ladies near the entrance go quiet and stare. Doors close and you hear whispering. When you arrive at the maternity hospital, almost everyone asks, are you giving the baby up? Are you refusing? The doctor could say whatever she wanted. I just stayed silent because, again, I was scared. I didn't know what to say, how to stand up for myself, what to do, what was right or wrong. There were looks like people thought I got pregnant by fooling around. Let's just say a fallen woman. I pay very little attention to what people think about me. And at that moment, I was so overjoyed with my pregnancy, just like that I didn't notice people pointing fingers at me, saying things or whatever. I absolutely didn't care. When my mom found out the news, I wasn't there. Because I said, that's it, I messed up, you deal with it. He handled it. He said, I asked for your daughter's hand in marriage. She said, what are you talking about? She's still young, very young. She said she's just a child. I wouldn't say that she was very upset or that she got depressed. I was independent. Since I was 13, I worked during the summer instead of taking vacations or anything like that. She knew we would manage. Mom is standing in the kitchen, cooking something, and her daughter comes in and throws her the test with 2 lines. Honestly, I don't remember anyone scolding me or giving me any lectures. Dad just didn't talk to me for about 2 months, and then at some point he came up to me and asked to meet with my boyfriend and with me as well. Just to sit down at some kind of negotiation table, just to talk. In the end, he said, okay, live your lives. He gave us his blessing. And since then, that's it. We communicated like we used to. I didn't tell my mom for a long time. It happened that one morning when I was getting ready for school, she sat me down on a chair and just looked me in the eyes and said, are you pregnant? About the abortion, let's say, I started saying that I wanted an abortion. At that time, I couldn't understand how, at 16. How would society react? You know, our society is like that. The doctor said, yes, you can have an abortion, but it will have consequences. I might not be able to have more children. My mom said, no abortions, we're going to have the baby. That's it. My dad set 2 conditions. First, finish university, and second, no children before marriage. I fulfilled both of them. I took a whole stack of books about pregnancy and childbirth and read them. I started doing all those things, eating right, and I did special exercises. So I was like a real mom, as if I had planned this pregnancy. I can say that when I was 16, I was more responsible, more anxious, and a better mom than I am now. It wasn't just a routine. I was interested. Well, I liked it. Damn, no. Well, it's hard. Oh my God, it's hard. It's tough. Well, it's hard. It's tough. Just like it is for any mom on maternity leave. I didn't want to go to concerts or party. I wanted to go to university and study. If I wanted to go out, I could easily ask my mom. She would stay with the baby and I would go out and have fun. There was nothing scary about it. Let's just say that I was somehow deprived, isolated, or that I didn't have my youth. I had everything. I stopped communicating with all my friends. I remember my classmates would call me and I refused everyone. I said no. It seemed to me that no one understood me, that my life was completely different. Only about a year later, when the baby grew older, did I start to come back to life. Before that, it felt like my life was over at 18. Let's move on. Of course, this early pregnancy story has a happy ending. My partner, who is now my husband, and I have been together for almost 15 years. Our oldest daughter is 13, and we have 2 younger daughters as well. We're young, beautiful, our whole life is ahead of us, and yet, yes, we're parents of many children. For the first 3 years, I was completely absorbed in my child. Then, when I divorced my husband, well, naturally, some time passed, and of course, I started wanting to maybe find my other half. Now I'm divorced for the 2nd time, and I'm raising 2 boys on my own. We're still together. It's been 9 years now. I can't say that these were exactly the easiest years. The secret to why we didn't get divorced, although I think everyone has had a lot of those moments, really critical, borderline ones. Probably it's that we just grew together, our roots intertwined at some point, and we simply became one whole. We lived together for 10 years. Our relationship turned out pretty well and we lived quite happily. At some point, we didn't outgrow each other. We just grew in different directions. Maybe I'm not a typical woman, I have a lot of ambition, and he just wanted things to be simpler. Everyone was happy and communicated well as friends, leaving no one unhappy, all was fine. There's this opinion in society that if you have a child early, that's it, your life is over. No, I graduated from college, I have a respectable profession, a good job, I have everything I need. I completed some 9-month courses while my child was young and began working from home. My goal was to earn enough money so I wouldn't have to think about it. Well, I managed that pretty quickly. By the time I was 25, I was making good money. Yes, I consider myself a fulfilled person. I got a degree in the field I wanted, and I'm working. I have my own business. I'm the director of a travel agency. I started it when I was 5 months pregnant with my second baby. And maybe it was my first pregnancy that played a role in me not being so afraid to start something new. He really had, well, it was his first love, of course, and he was all in, almost like he was ready to get married. I told him, stop son, let's not rush or do things the way your parents did. And you think about it, you'll grow up. Well, he needs to become a bit more of a man, at least enough to start a family. It's not just about sex education, it's also important to explain to a child the awareness of this step at the right time. He needs to understand what he will face to be prepared. I think that in my education, let's say, about sex education, what was I missing? I probably missed stories like the ones we're telling here. Because all those educational books, cartoons, movies, they're all great and good, but they're far from reality. Early pregnancy is not a sentence. It's not some deadly disease you need to be afraid of and tremble over. It's better to prevent it. And if pregnancy happens at an early age, it's not the end of the world, it's not the end of life, it's not a catastrophe. It will be hard, but we'll manage.